Okay, this is the simplest way that I can make my point. So first, we're just going to watch like a few seconds of this clip. This is what I want you to see first.
The public likes you. That's the only reason that this might fly. But that means it's on you. They're all going to come after you now. And not just the mob. Politicians, journalists, cops. Anyone whose wallet's about to get lighter. Are you up to it? You better be. Because they get anything on you. And those criminals are back on the streets, followed swiftly by you and me.
Okay, we all have seen The Dark Knight. We all know that they marked the commissioner, they marked Judge Cirillo, and they marked other people with DNA on a Joker card, right? Why am I showing you that? Oh, because art imitates life, or life imitates art, or both, or the other way around, or who's he what's it, or the Titanic was based on a book, or the book was based on the real thing, or who knows. But this is a really weird one because in The Dark Knight, you have the judge handed the envelope by someone who's trusted. She said, "Get in, it'll tell you where you're going." And then she pulls out the thing and it just says up. And then you see as they're driving away, the car blows up, right? Lone gunman, dressed as a FedEx worker, shows up at the house of the judge. And I don't know if he went up to the house and tried to break in and like assassinate them, if it was like a standing out in the yard shooting into the house. The way that this is going to read, I think will tell us a little bit more, but just understand this is a really odd story. The fact that they already found the guy, he's already committed suicide. He didn't kill the judge. He shot her husband and killed her son, her 20-year-old adult son who was home, but didn't kill her, and so then he kills himself. Why you think if his mission, his life-sending mission, would be to kill this judge because he's an anti-feminist, then you would think he would finish the job, not get the wrong people and kill himself. None of this makes sense. Neither does the 1,700-page book that this guy self-published. 1,700. Typically, it's an odd number anyways for them to just put out. But they found the guy right away. Isn't this odd? They can't find any of the criminals in Portland or Seattle. They need the feds to track them down for weeks. But here, we immediately got the guy that was the to-be assassin. He failed. But don't worry, he's dead. What is it called again when you have a false... Oh, yeah, it's a false flag. Okay, so anyways. Anti-feminist lawyer identified as the suspect in deadly shooting at a federal judge's home. It's from the Washington Post. A couple of people wrote this one up today. It says, federal authorities identified a self-described anti-feminist lawyer found dead Monday as the primary subject of a shooting at the federal judge's New Jersey home that killed the jurist's son and left her husband badly injured. The U.S. District Judge Esther Salas was not injured in the Sunday shooting, which the FBI, the U.S. Marshal Service, and local authorities are investigating. The FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office in New Jersey's identified the dead... Hang on, let me say that again. The FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office in New Jersey identified the dead suspect as Roy Den Hollander. Law enforcement officials said his body was found in Sullivan County, New York, about a 2-hour drive from the scene of the shooting. The lawyer appeared to have died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, one official said, though more investigative work is underway. So, one person, an unnamed official, we don't know where they're from, the FBI or local law enforcement or who, but they say, in Sullivan County, New York, that this shooter was found dead and that it appears that it's a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Hollander gained a level of notoriety having sued over ladies' night drink specials, which he claimed were discriminatory. He was the attorney that had gone after these bars that had said ladies get in free or ladies half off. He sued them for discrimination. It's one of these guys. The gunman appeared at Salas's home in North Brunswick, New Jersey on Sunday afternoon wearing an outfit described to police as a FedEx uniform. Law enforcement officials said that both Mark Anderl, 63, And the defense attorney and the former Essex County Assistant Prosecutor, and Daniel Anderl, this is the son, 20. He's a student at the Catholic University in Detroit, in the District of Columbia, were both shot after one of them opened the door for the gunman around 5 p.m. So it's Sunday night, it's 5 o'clock, FedEx guy, someone opens the door, shot. He was shot through the heart. That's what the North Brunswick mayor says. He was shot through the heart. Daniel was, the 20-year-old. I mean, it's just despicable. So the father is recovering, but in serious or critical condition. It's been a day. Still in critical condition, and the son is deceased. And there he is. Salas's son died, and her husband was rushed to the hospital for surgery. Mark, the husband, is now in stable condition. Daniel was a rising junior at the Catholic University. The school's president said in a statement that he had just celebrated his birthday last week. There he is, 20. The FBI said it's looking for one suspect with the assistance of the Marshal Service, which obviously helps federal judges. And then, what do you know? They found him right away. But here's Bill Barr saying this kind of lawlessness, this is a quote from Attorney General Bill Barr, this kind of lawlessness, evil action carried out against a member of the federal judiciary will not be tolerated, and I have ordered the full resources of the FBI and the U.S. Marshal Service to investigate the matter. As a judge, this is now Womack speaking, one of the locals, his friends with Salas and her husband told ABC, as a judge, she gets threats from time to time, but everyone is saying that recently there had not been any. So it's interesting that she was just the target of this, right? Salas, 51, is New Jersey's first Hispanic woman to serve on the U.S. District Court. President Barack Obama actually nominated her for this position in 2010. She was confirmed by the Senate in 2011. She's been on the bench for recent cases involving the Grape Street Crips, so she has had a couple of high-profile gang charges lately that got moved through her bench, but this says Salas was more recently taken on a lawsuit brought on by Deutsche Bank investors, alleging that the bank itself failed to follow the anti-money laundering policies by taking on high-risk clients, known pedophiles and sex traffickers, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, to name a couple. This, oddly enough, Washington Post, dirty dog, you're only willing to out the dead one of the two, Jeffrey Epstein. But both Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein are working through Deutsche Bank. And so the investors at Deutsche Bank, who realize now they're ripped off, they just lost another, $150 million settlement that the bank had to pay for doing all the money laundering. They're only holding on to $500 million for him, so they're paying $150 million. They can't make that much money back off of the investment. So the investors are pissed, and they're suing. And so the lawsuit lands in the lap of this attorney, or this judge, pardon me. So this federal judge then has her family home shot at, her son killed, her husband nearly mortally wounded, because she's taking on a case involving the child trafficking. Just the case being close to Ghislaine Maxwell. Which, by the way, has anyone seen Ghislaine? Does anyone know where she is? Because I want to show this. Oh, God, are you going to open or what? Look at this thing. So, interestingly enough, saw this on iFunny. New York Post tweets saying that Ghislaine Maxwell is being moved from cell to cell. They don't even know if she's really in that Supermax prison. We've not seen a picture of her. We don't even know that she's actually been arrested. I mean, we can assume she's been arrested because everyone has reported that she is. So we have to assume she is. It would be evidenceless and total conspiratorial thinking to think that she's just not even been arrested. Let's assume that she has been arrested, but we don't know where she is. They're telling us she's in this Supermax prison. They're also saying that that was the prison that they killed Epstein in, and we can't trust her being there. This says they're moving her from cell to cell. She's wearing paper clothing. She's not given a lock because she doesn't. So all these different things that they're doing that is abnormal because what they did that was normal for Epstein failed. Remember all these different failures? Oh, the guards were off duty and asleep and jacking it off in the basement, and these cameras didn't work, and people could hear him but no one could see him, and the lights were out, and somehow like the The dogs were fed a giant bone, and like all the other dumb bullshit things happened that allowed Epstein to be killed. And so they don't want that for Ghislaine. They want her alive. His black book is missing from his house. Epstein's, remember, his mansion in New York was, his Manhattan brownstone home was raided, but they didn't find his black book. Well, here's the living copy, right? Here's the version of it that we can make speak for itself. And Ghislaine Maxwell has been moved from cell to cell to cell to cell. No one knows where she's going to be kept. And they're saying it's because they want to avoid assassins. So this tweet says it all. This is basically them now admitting through clenched teeth that, well, you know, Epstein got assassinated. That's what this was. They had him under normal hold rules, right? They said, oh, we were holding him the way that we were supposed to. But how they knew what those rules were, I don't know. They got slipped right by us. Remember, they threw that big dog a giant bone, and then they just walked right through and said, hey, Epstein, come on over here. Quit choking yourself. Quit choking yourself. Well, now they don't want this to happen to Ghislaine, so they're moving her all over the place. No one can get at her. What's the next best thing then? What's the next best thing if you can't get at Ghislaine Maxwell, because you literally can't physically get to her, your assassins can't get to her, well, just go after the judge that's making waves for you. That's what I think's happening. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like the video. Make sure you share this video because you know that no one's going to organically find it on their own. And then please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. It really helps the numbers out, makes these views go up a little bit. And it'll also keep America afloat.